Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. There's a brand spanking new article from our friends over at Bitcoinist.com, which I think we all will acknowledge are the true authorities on everything related to Ripple and XRP. I mean, come on, Bitcoinist.com, they're on the ball here, right? And so they put out this article titled, 4 Things Holding Back XRP Price Right Now. And I have to run through this. And I tell you what, I'm going to guess that 0% of humans listening to this right now will be surprised when I say that I could not disagree more with just about everything that's in here. And some of it's just outright silly. That's right. The author being a little bit of a silly goose here. So I'm going to go ahead and break it down for you. I've also got this story, a brand new from today. This one's from crypto media outlet UToday. And it's titled, Ripple's partner SBI Remit announces tie-up with major Japanese banks. So I want to make sure I do run through that one as well. There's a lot to talk about today, obviously. It seems like that pretty much every day. I'll tell you what, I'm never hurting for content. There's so much going on within the XRP ecosystem that it's more often than not the case that I can't cover everything that occurs on a daily basis unless I just want to give a blurb about it. But to actually sufficiently dig in, there's not enough time. I'd have to make this my full-time job, and it's not. It's just a fun hobby. So anyway, before we go any further, though, if you would please delicately tap that like button. And if you're a fan of Bitcoinists saying all they know about Ripple and XRP, go ahead and subscribe to the Moon Lambo channel, because you know I'm going to keep highlighting it. We just have a little blasty blast running through these things. It's just adorable. They're writing about something that they sort of know of. It's the best. And here it begins. Ripple's XRP token had been performing very well in 2020, reaching as high as 34 cents in mid-February before pulling back to just under 30 cents. Unfortunately, it wasn't immune to the losses which have hit virtually the entire crypto space this week. So what could be holding it back from recovering now? I think, like, if you just take part of what they said there and think about it, you could surmise that the same thing happened to all coins, and then you just don't have to write the article. But that's not what they did here. They wrote about fundamental reasons for the price of XRP, and isn't that fun? So here's the first one. 1 of 4. Ripple case not dismissed. Now, I already made a video about this today, so I'm not going to go in depth, but it's one of the reasons, so I got to touch on it. A federal judge in California yesterday ruled that the class action lawsuit being pursued against Ripple could not be dismissed. A group of investors are suing the company, claiming that they lost money selling XRP after being tricked by Ripple's promotional statements. Now, that's not entirely true, but would you expect anything less from Bitcoinist.com? There were 7 claims that Ripple wanted tossed out, and I already forgot the number, but it was like I think it was 2 of them were actually completely dismissed. So it was certainly actually this whole process is actually something of a victory for Ripple, even though it's not being portrayed as that in crypto media. It was a good thing. It was a good strategic move on the part of their attorneys. So there you go. The judge did dismiss certain claims, but Ripple had requested that the case be thrown out entirely. Well, yeah, because there were 7 claims and they wanted all 7 of them gone. But anyway, due to it being filed over 5 years after XRP was first offered in 2013. Now, of course, they stand by that, and that is fundamentally true. And and all this means is that the case is going to proceed. It doesn't mean that Ripple's wrong about anything. The investors will now get a chance to take Ripple to court for selling unregistered securities. Ripple themselves said that this would upend and threaten to destroy the established XRP market more broadly. And what they're talking about there is a scenario in which XRP were actually declared a security, but they're also making it very clear that it's not. Ripple has been very, very public about their stance on that from the top on down. Now, again, think about this, though. Do you think for a moment that the price of XRP has anything to do with that? Or is it more likely that XRP price, like every other cryptocurrency, is just following what the rest of the market is doing, namely the price volatility of Bitcoin? Come on here, guys. Here's number 2 of 4. XRP security status still unknown, which is kind of tied into the first one, but they wanted to have 4 reasons instead of 3, I guess, so here we are. Speaking of unregistered securities, the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission has still not made a decision as to whether it classes XRP as a security. Should it eventually take the position that the Ripple asset is not a security, then this should also negate the class action lawsuit. The SEC has certainly been taking its time with the decision. Back in June 2018, it classed Bitcoin and Ether as currencies and not securities, but was undecided on XRP. Well, what they've said is that I don't know exactly how they worded it off the top of my head, but basically the message that was conveyed by Jay Clayton with the SEC was, when asked about specific currencies, and he was asked about XRP in an interview that I saw probably, roughly a year and a half ago, is that he just wasn't going to comment on it. So as far as what's going on behind the scenes, we're just not privy to that, period. But I suppose it could be kind of reasonable to suspect that a decision could come down technically. We don't know that there is even something technically being discussed in that capacity. But the SEC clearly is aware of XRP. The hammer has come down on all sorts of other ICOs that happened from 2017 onward. XRP, completely unscathed after over 7 years of existing. I'm not exactly concerned here, okay? And I also know that the XRP ledger is more decentralized than the Bitcoin blockchain. So when you consider things like that, if XRP were security of what? Ripple, for what reason? They don't have any powers over it. They couldn't shut it down. What about other entities involved in the network, like would Coinbase? They're getting money on the sale of XRP, the buying and selling of XRP. They're making money on all the trades. Is it security of Coinbase? They got a bunch of XRP. Like, how far does this go? Is it a coil? I mean, other developers build on top of the ledger? It just doesn't make any damn sense. Now, let me continue. At the time, some believe that a ruling by the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, FinCEN, in 2015, allowing Ripple to continue selling XRP tokens meant that the SEC could not then classify them as securities. However, 20 months later, and the SEC has thus far failed to come to the same conclusion. Well, they're just moving like turtles, or as it pertains to regulations having to do with the entire crypto asset class. It's not just XRP, so don't portray it like it is. Bitcoinist.com. Here's number 3 of 4. IPO concerns. Oh, I love this one. Back in January, Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse hinted that the company was very likely to go public sometime in the next 12 months. Selling shares in an initial public offering, IPO. Some felt that a move such as this was tantamount to pulling out the rug from under XRP investors and would essentially make the tokens obsolete. If an IPO is going to happen, Ripple needs to convince investors of its commitment to XRP tokens and the value of them going forward. Which is hilarious to me because part of Ripple's actual market value has something to do with the value of XRP. Duh. Why would... And look at their actions. They're promoting a very healthy XRP ecosystem here. And so for anybody that is making the case that an IPO would be bad for XRP, I could not disagree more. And I've listened to what little bit there is in terms of an quote-unquote argument in favor of that concept. And there just isn't any meat to that argument. It makes no damn sense. Brad Garlinghouse, in one of his quotes, which is now one of my favorites, has stated that thanks to the Series C funding round that they went through, which get them an extra $200 million, and the company Ripple's valued at $10 billion. He said that resulted in quote a balance sheet flexibility, which is another way of saying that they've got so much money they don't know what to do with it. So, but here's the cool thing. Look, here's the cool thing about this. They can do more of what they're already doing. And so it's not that they needed money, but because they have more money from that, they can promote healthy. They can look at a couple things here. They can certainly continue to be the greatest cheerleader for the XRP ecosystem, do everything they can possible to ensure the adoption of interledger protocol, which will benefit XRP directly. That's their theory, certainly, anyway. And we'll see how that all unfolds. And they can help to invest in all sorts of startups and other businesses that are just in the world of crypto, because as the pie increases, as other projects unrelated to XRP increase, that's good for everybody, including, I believe, XRP holders. That's my opinion here, as your everyday Joe Schmo type of guy here. But consider that if there's an IPO, even more money will flow in, and they can do even more of those types of activities. There is no downside, and this is good for XRP. They're going to continue to promote the XRP ecosystem. How on earth would Ripple having even more money to do so ever be conceived reasonably as a bad thing? It just don't make no damn sense, says Moon Lambo. And now here's number 4 of 4. And this one's hilarious. This is the one where I say this writer's just a silly goose here. Lack of XRP endorsement. Oh, yes. Yes, we're talking about social media influencers. I kid you not. Check this out. And they had to write, the first thing they wrote is, we're serious. This author. We're serious about the lack of XRP endorsement being a problem. So we're serious. While many other cryptocurrencies have their big name fans, XRP and Ripple are more likely to find themselves at the sharp end of a put down. As Bitcoinist reported this week, Anthony Pompliano said in no uncertain terms that he would never buy XRP in a televised interview. Yeah, he said that on CNN. I made a video about that because it's silly. BitMEX CEO Arthur Hayes famously called XRP dog S-word earlier this month as his company announced it as a trading pair for perpetual swaps. And Tone Vays didn't hold back when he told Bitcoinist what he hates most about XRP. Well, this is not surprising. You named at least 2 of the 3 of those are Bitcoin maxis. What do you expect them to say? What are you talking about here? Then they write, even retired UFC fighter Ben Askren felt the need to get in on the act, saying that he thought XRP was, quote, a scam. Maybe a big name endorsement would help XRP to get moving upwards again. So let me ask you. This is the premise. Think about all 4 of the things I just cited here, and think about the last one especially here. Do you believe that the price of XRP is where it is because of lack of endorsement from some celebrity? And do you think that something like that would be more important in determining whether you're buying or selling XRP? Is that more important than real-world utility? What do you think big picture is going to drive the price of XRP? This is just so stupid. Oh my God! I don't mean any offense to the guy, but I mean this is just silly here. Come on, come on. It's ridiculous. All right, I'm moving on to the next piece here. Ripple's partner SBI Remit announces tie-up with major Japanese bank. RippleNet-powered money transfer service SBI Remit has made an announcement about its cooperation with the Fukushima Bank. From now on, this regional Japanese bank will be responsible for handling all of the company's international remittance services. SBI Remit states that it is keen on adopting new technologies, including Ripple's distributed ledger technology. This helps it make remittances more convenient and secure. The Ripple partnership already allows SBI Remit Thai nationals that reside in Japan to conduct nearly instantaneous cross-border payments between the 2 countries. And here's a quote, "With the steady rise of remittance flows, we see Ripple helping us open up new revenue potential for our business and a better overall experience for our customers." And that was a representative director at SBI Remit Co. Ltd. who said that. And I'm not going to even try and pronounce the name. There's no point. I'm just going to butcher it. We'll just call you John. There you go. Your name's John now. But anyway, that's it for this video. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo!